Boy, we stepped in it now. Let me tell you something. Welcome back to the moral decay of America. And holy shit, has the horse pucky hit the rotary cooling device now. Here noted, earlier this week, our SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, made a 5-4 vote Monday, stating that the federal agents could come to Texas and cut down Texas razor wire across our southern border that we implemented. Now, depending on which knucklehead you talk to out there, and if you've actually read the United States Constitution, you're going to have different translations of what the Constitution says that Texas has the right to do. So, in the efforts of disputing the interpretation of our Constitution, you now have roughly 25 different governors shown here on this map who supports the great state of Texas in defying the ruling from the SCOTUS earlier this week. This is literally Governor Abbott saying, piss off. We're saying this because, number one, we can. That's our First Amendment right. But more importantly, if you look at Article 1, Section 10, it clearly states that any time a state of this union is being invaded, the federal government is supposed to step in and protect the state. That's, after all, this is a contract. This is a contract of this state and this union to defend the individual states. That's what it is. It's a contract. It's in writing. It's right there, Article 1, Section 10. Problem solved. However, if you're not going to honor the contract, which means, hey, federal government, you're not going to protect the state, then guess what? The great state of Texas, as a prime example here, has the legal right, the moral right, the ethical right to defend itself against an invasion. It's right there in the Constitution. Invasion. So now, depending on who you talk to, on whether or not we agree on the term or the vocabulary or the definition of the word invasion. So a prime example of this, back in the day when the country first started, it only took a couple of thousand people to go across the border to say they're being invaded. Take what we did to this country. We invaded it and stole it from the Native Americans. A lot of liberal goober-nuts believe that we stole it. Thousands and thousands of white folk came in, and millions later, we got our own country here and we stole it because we invaded the Western Hemisphere that way. That was called an invasion. But yet, those same son bitches will not agree that millions of people pouring across our border is not an invasion. So I ask, very simply, what do you call an invasion? That will give you your answer. Let's take another example. It wasn't too long ago, back in the early 1990s, some damn place across over there, an invasion was done of a small country called Kuwait. There wasn't millions of son bitches coming from Iraq over there, but there was a few 100,000. But we called that an invasion of Kuwait. But yet, millions of people coming across our border is not an invasion. So again, I just don't understand giving you very facts, very true examples of how some son bitch out there can say that this is not an invasion when every other time when we've went to war, it's because of invasions. Communists were invading Vietnam. We went to war. Communists were invading Korea. We went to war. White folk come across the pond to invade the Western Hemisphere. Guess what? Native Americans and those military folks went to war and fought for the land. How is this any different? How? You had the whole Roman empires. Guess what they did? They spread out and invaded the land to own it and to rule it. Guess what? Every major society, the Egyptians, and the list goes on, took over land, stole it, invaded it, whatever and however you want to call it, from the people that occupied it and took it over. And if you don't think that's going on here, you got a severe problem. So Governor Abbott, my hat's off to you, sir. Stick it to the man. This is an invasion, not only of the great state of Texas, but to the United States of America. And you've already got people crying and bitching. Oh, well, don't send them some bitches up here. We're already overwhelmed with the few buses that we've got sent up here. What do you think it feels like down here in Texas, dude? Seriously. If you some bitches don't see that this is a problem and you cannot unite to save your sanctuary city, to save your local citizens, to save this country from an invasion, then we don't deserve a country. Why are you here? If you don't want to have a country, then just go to Canada. Take your ass to Mexico. Let's take the invasion to them. Maybe that's what we should do. But the simple fact that now goobers on the left side of the fence are wanting the president to federalize the Texas National Guard, that just goes to show you those people do not want to protect your country. Asylum seekers know that there is a process. Asylum seekers know there are legal points of entry, but they don't want to wait. Why not? If they're not going to abide by your laws to get in here, what makes you think they're going to do it once they're in here? And furthermore, let's just take the drugs. Have that as a conversation. But more importantly, the sex trafficking. All you liberal motherfuckers want the same rights to abort a baby. What do you think about that 12-year-old there getting raped? And has to do it over and over again because she's being trafficked. See, y'all don't want to address the humanity behind the problem, and you don't want to keep our country safe. So what value are you bringing to our country as a Democrat? If this is what you believe, then go ahead and give me your children. And let's send them over there to the cartels and let's just get them raped. Let them get pregnant. Let them get full of drugs. See how they like it. Let's see how you like it. You think these young ladies appreciate that? And more importantly, if not just as importantly, they're raping boys too, which is another sick thing. So I just don't get it. Protect our country. I can't believe the federal government is suing a state and has sued a state and won with a 5-4 vote in our Supreme Court for Texas defending themselves, even though it says right there in the Constitution, if the government don't do and prevent an invasion, the state has the right to do it. And that, my friends, is the moral decay of America.